All right. Hello, everyone. I don't know if we'll. I can then introduce the session. So welcome to welcome to the demo session. I won't moderate all of it, but I will have the first session at least. Me and Eugenia here, or in general, we're going to talk a bit about the data access in its different forms to the European and local CLMS. And me and Eugenia, we will start with going through the traditional or the current portal where we access most of our data sets still. And then Eugenia will give you a bit of insight into the new portal that has been developed and will be published rather soon, quite soon. And then we will also go into, because in recent years we have had the addition of WekEO, using the WekEO platform for dissemination as well, and also with the addition of the ground motion service, which is published on yet another portal or another system that will be presented as well as in the end of the session. So I will start with the current portal, and so the most logical here is to have a kind of a live demo showing the portal and click around a bit, but I didn't dare to do that. Not that the portal is not stable, it's very stable, but if there's one point it will fail, it will be now. So I've tried to build a PowerPoint here which reassembles a live experience. So when we land, so this is the landing page of the portal. I think most in this room have visited it. There won't be much news in these sessions, but maybe there's someone that is really interested in started using CLMS data. This session is for you. So we can start already here. The portal has on the landing page here we have the 4 major categories. So and we link here to the global that sends you to a different portal. So the global components portal. But for our production, we have the pan-European, the local, and the imagery and reference data. And in the pan-European, I think it's clear now after these days, we have the high-resolution layers, the legacy Korean land cover, the CLC Plus, which is a fairly new production, and also the biophysical parameters. Further in the local, as Anna presented yesterday, we have the riparian zones, the urban atlas, etc. I'm just giving an overview here, so I'm not going into each product. And then in imagery and reference data, we have these the high-resolution mosaics that we publish. We also have a link to the global mosaic service. What's it called? Global image mosaics. Where you can create your own image mosaics, and also the EU DEM and EU Hydro. Oh yeah, this is what I learned. You should point it that way. And then further, we also publish news on the portal. So in this news carousel, we call it, there's frequent updates on new publications, etc., and some other sections of the portal. I won't go into these in detail. They're pretty self-explanatory. I will later explain a bit on the technical library because we find this to be a very important section of the portal for users to start using our data. I thought I had it. Okay, we go up again. Okay, so this is the live demo seg. So we click on Pan-European. I will just go into a data set here and explore how we find the data set and what in the different sections we get type of information and so on. So we go to the Pan-European. As you see here, we have quite a... so as we go deeper into the products, we have kind of a summary description of that product and the component itself. And if we enter the high-resolution layers, we get a descriptive text. We also get linkages to these product user manuals, which are in the technical library, and goes more in depth into the description of the layers and services and how to use them. And for this example here, we we provide a history of the production to be able to follow how the products have evolved over time, and what products in this case have been added over where you can expect there's layers for the products, respective products. Okay, let's go up again and enter the forests. Small description there. The status maps. Oh, sorry. The status maps and change maps are published in parallel. And in status maps, we find the reference years 2012, 15, and 18 for this product. I will enter the tree cover density here. And this is so for each product, it looks the same. We have a map view with a web map. And for the current portal, they have separate web maps for each product. We will get into later on the future portal, which more consolidates it into one big web map, which is a bit more modern approach. But for this, so this is in the traditional sense. We also provide the web services to be able to add, that will link to the web server that uses the map layers. And I think many people are familiar with this. We use an ArcGIS server, so this is a ArcGIS, it's what we call it, the page for an ArcGIS service hosted on an ArcGIS server. And here you can find information as well as the WMS in the upper corner there to finally add to a QGIS or whatever, your own web maps, etc. And we also make sure that these links to these services stays permanent, so that if you've added it to a web map, it will stay there. You won't get a cannot load error once you've in a couple of years or so. Yeah, that's that. And then we can go further into the metadata tab. Here we we publish our Inspire compliant metadata in a easily readable way. So all products, also when you download them, I'll get into that later, also adds the metadata as XML files, but here we publish them in a easily readable way. The lineage, etc., kind of in detail on data used and also kind of a bit of a history of some products. The date of publication and usually there's also date of revision, so that is good to keep track of if there's been updates. Access constraints, etc. I also want to mention the EA SDI, which also has a replica of these metadata records. Or that is actually where they're added and then copied to the portal and the XML files, etc. It's a really good tool to search for metadata and find products. And then from there, it's linked to the portal where you find the data. They also link the web services, which can be very advantageous for some products that are hosted on WekEO, for example. Maybe you don't know how to find the web services for the vegetation, phenology, and productivity. Well, on the SDI, you find it easily, the kind of the WMS server for HRBPP and snow and ice, etc., which is interesting because those products are time series products where you can produce, you can have a look at the products in a time manner. So I recommend the EA SDI. And further go into the download section. It's pretty straightforward. It's mostly published as zip files, so you can select certain zip files and download. However, if you're following along now, you will notice that this page doesn't look like this if you're not logged in. So you have to be logged in to properly be able to select files and download them, etc. That's the only condition for accessing the data itself. As you see here, we again give reference to the product user manual, and I will enter the technical library now just to show you that it's searchable library where you can find the respective documents. So here you have the validation reports if you want to go into the quality aspects of the data sets, but also the product user manuals where you really find easily digestible information on each product, and we highly recommend reading these manuals before using the data, because there's a lot of details to understand to fully utilize the products. Do I have more? I think so, yeah. A bit more, I don't know if maybe I already said this. I went back to the pan-European landing page now. I will enter the biophysical parameters, where we have the high resolution phenology and productivity. And, oh yeah, so this is just to show that we still have a lot of information on these products. So this is one of the products that are hosted on WekEO, where you can visualize it and download it. But the portal is still kind of the one-stop shop before to digest information on the product, etc. So here, further down here, we have validation reports, product user manuals. We're also adding scripts now for easily accessing the or programmatically accessing the products on WekEO portal, etc. If you know the HDA protocol and so on. So even though for products on WekEO, I highly recommend going through the portal first. And I think that was my last slide. Thanks.
While we're waiting for the slides to change, my name is Eugenia Schön. Like my colleague Ludwig, I am from European Environment Agency. And I would like to use 5 to 7 minutes of your time to inform you about the new website of the Copernicus Land Monitoring Service. This is a project where the European Environment Agency is working together with the Joint Research Center of the Commission and its capacity of Copernicus Global Land Component. This new website has many new functionalities. The main goal of it basically is to offer to our users a single entry to the whole portfolio of Land Copernicus service. That's a very important point. But the focus of today is to present you with new features of the new website related to data access. But before I begin, let me answer to the question. So when is this new website going to be operational? We are planning to have it ready by the end of the year. Now, whether it's smart to launch websites by the end of the year, we will have to ask our communication experts, but I would anticipate that we are closer to the beginning of the next year. Everybody is back from holidays and ready to start. So I point somewhere where it takes me to the next slide, which presents centralized common map viewer that the new website is going to have. This map viewer will allow users to explore at the same time multiple data sets, what the current portal cannot. This viewer will allow users to explore temporal data sets. It will allow to choose base maps, it will allow to use some printing options, it will allow to get some extra information at pixel level, it will have some GIS measuring tools. And I think the important thing, most important thing, one of the important things is that it will have integrated download functionality directly from the map viewer, allowing to download data of interest or data sets of interest by area of interest and, if applicable, time interval. Now, for users who are more confident, more used to using classical search functions, we will offer a dataset catalog, which is based on inspired metadata of our products and which will allow us to search by combining free text search and various filters such as spatial resolution, spatial extent, temporal extent, formats, inspired themes, and so on and so forth. The result of such search would be a dataset of interest or short list of datasets where users would be able to explore further and find all information related to that dataset, such as status, all available technical documentation, citation examples, and then access and visualization. So in principle, Map Viewer and data search are integrated. You can start one place and end in the data page. You can start by searching, finding data set, and you can end up in the Map Viewer. So different ways for users to hook up and start using the website. The next slide is about downloads. So what users can do. Users can download data by area of interest, in Europe being various NUTS classifications, bounding box, outside Europe, bounding box. It will be also allowed, of course, as I mentioned, to download data by time interval if applicable, and downloads will be integrated in the Map Viewer and accessible from a dataset page, which also will offer in many cases, for many datasets, download of prepackaged, prepared data collections to enable faster downloads, because you can expect that otherwise the download can take a bit more time to process. Now, how the downloads are managed by user on the website. A simple, very simple shopping cart approach. So user is browsing the website using different ways that the user finds easiest to explore, navigate, find data sets, select those data sets for area of interest that they find interesting, useful to explore further and download. Once ready, then the users go to cart and revise their selection, like what you do when you're shopping. Remove what's not after all relevant. You can select projections. There are certain projections predefined. You can select different formats, different resolutions, if applicable, and then start download. You can monitor the process, and once download is completed, you have different ways of using the data set, either getting message or then logging in and then following your download page information. Besides download on or through the web interface, the new website will also offer machine-to-machine download with REST API interface. So that would be, not going into much details, the main functions related to data access, and all of them are quite improved compared to the current portal. Now, you can ask questions now. You're also welcome to address us using the help desk email address that was just exactly this one on the slide, where we will be able to answer probably in more detail and provide more information, both on the current portal and on new developments. So that would be it from my side. Thank you. I don't know whether I leave it here or somebody will